Hi guys, today we are reviewing a Casio G-Shock watch. The model is the GD-100-SC-1. In the review we'll be going through the style, features as well as dimensions. So without further ado, let's get started. As this is a G-Shock watch and it's my first G-Shock watch, I'm quite pleased to see that it comes in the tin I've seen for a lot of G-Shock watches. So you've got this tin with coloured dots around the edges of the top and G-Shock written on the side. Inside is your watch, in between like a little cushion thing, and we've got a little tag. So this little card tells us the features of the watch, which I will go through separately anyway, but it gives you an idea of what the watch actually does. Just simple with a little model number on it. So if we actually look at the watch itself is a black watch with a resin type coating. So the actual case is a shiny resin sort of plastic coating, but it's also shock resistant, which is why it's a G-Shock. So this is actually quite soft. You've got screws holding the case in place, and I'm going to explain a little bit about that a little bit later on. And then you've got your 4 buttons for the features either side of the face, and you've got a lovely very shiny black resin stroke rubber strap. This has got a retainer point on it, it's in matte black oddly enough, and then you've got the Casio G-Shock name on the actual buckle itself. It's a 2-pin buckle with 2 holes through the strap when you fix it in place, but unlike some of the other watches I've got which have got 2, and there is a Ben Sherman if you look through one of my lists, this one's joined in the middle, so it's like a H pattern. So actually when it's put together it's easy to get both holes in at the same time. The other watch I've got, the Ben Sherman, they're not joined, so they're 2 separate, so trying to match them up is a nightmare. They never seem to match properly. This one you can see has an awful lot of adjustment points, but also air points. I think they let the air through because you can see they're on the other side where obviously you're not going to fit the strap to the buckle. The back part of the strap is in a matte finish, and you've got a little bit of wording here just again about the manufacturer. We have a Casio China mark on the buckle, the other side of the buckle, and we have a screw down back. This tells us that the watch is a G-Shock, and it's a shock resist watch. It's water resistant to 200 meters, and it says on the back shock absorbing structure, and that is this case around here. If we look at the case is a very shiny black case. It's sort of a rubbery material. It's very soft compared to other parts of the watch, like the back of the watch. And this actually comes off. So if you unscrew this part comes away from the case of the watch, and then you can get to the bits underneath the buttons and places like that. Now on this watch, it was a second-hand watch from eBay, my first G-Shock watch as always, and when I actually got it, it looked fairly clean, it was alright, but I thought I'd take it apart just to clean off the little bits where the buttons were a bit mucky and a little bit in between sort of some of the screws and places like that. And when I took it apart, it was absolutely filthy. It's surprising how much dirt gathers underneath these buttons and around the edges. So I give it a good old clean up and I put it back together again, and it's actually looking alright now. If we come to look at the face, you can see the face has this lovely green sort of detail on it. So we've got G-Shock around the edges of the bezel as such. So it says G-Shock and it says protection down the bottom. We've got markings for the features on some of the buttons. It will say reverse, forward, mode and adjust. But also on the edge of the face, you've got this sort of like plastic inner shoulder as such, and it will tell you it's got a light, search feature, select and set at the top, and then you've got this bit going across the middle, so like this bridge with 2 circle windows and then 3 little dots for the other windows on the actual face. The bottom of the inner case shows us it's a shock resistant watch. Top shows us it's Casio. The face itself has Illuminator written in it, and then you've got the LCD display, which again is in a sort of a green finish, so it matches with the rest of the watch. And you've then got your standard digital display. The top part of the dial shows off the date, so the day and the date. The bottom half shows off the time. The 2 dials, this bigger dial is counting the seconds. The smaller dial is counting every 20 seconds, so it's like a quadrant. So every 20 seconds a little pie piece fills up on this one until it gets round to the minute. The small dots on the little bridge piece are to show you which mode you have set on things like the alarm. So you've got a signal, alarm and a mute button. They will all light up as you select those modes. Now with all Casio watches, or most digital watches, the modes are pretty much the same way of getting through them. You press the button here at this side, it says mode button. That will take it into, in this case, a dual time, so it's a world timer, so it's currently telling me the time in Athens. Press it again for one of the alarms. You've got multiple alarms you can set on this watch, so it's alarm 2 at the moment, and it tells me the alarm's off, but that's the time I can set it. I've then got a countdown timer. Now, countdown timer on this is really good because it actually counts in hours, and I've got countdown timers. I've got more than one. I've got a few countdown timers should I need them. And then I've got the stopwatch, and again, stopwatch actually counts up quite high. You've got stopwatch 00. If you press the start to start the stopwatch, press the button down here, the hundredths of a second are counting at the top. Then you've got seconds, then minutes, then hours. So in theory, you could probably go up to 99 hours if you wanted to. Not that you would on a stopwatch, but if it was a feature you needed, it could do it. Press the bottom one to stop it. Top one up here resets it back to 0. Then if I press the mode button again, goes back to the normal time and tells me it's Monday again. Now the watch also features, as I said, a light, but the light on this watch, some of the Casio watches I've reviewed before have the illuminator, and it's usually quite a bit weak. The one on the little watch, the sort of the classic Casio, the last review I did of the FW watch, that was a very weak light, was very early in their lighting design. This one is incredibly powerful, in some cases a bit too powerful. See there, if you do that with the lights off, you can't actually see the display because of the camera. Turn the lights down a little bit and then press the display button for the lights. So it's massively powerful. You light up a whole room with that. As I kept saying, this is my first G-Shock, and it's one of the ones I like the style of because of the green. It's the main reason I bought it, to go with my green collection. With the dots on the top of the box, you can see they said there's lots of different multicolours, and this watch is available in multicolours. There's all mixes of colours that they can do around the shoulder, the dial parts across the middle, the actual LCD panel itself, and of course the writing and the buttons. So there is an awful lot of watches in this style. They all have a slightly different model number at the end. So the 100-SC in the model number is then followed by a 1, which is this one for green, but you'll get other colours will have a different number, so it'll be like a 7 or an 8 or a 9 in a different colour, like a blue, red or purple or whatever else it's available in. The purple's like a dark purple, but then with a pink middle. That actually looks quite nice, but green is my thing. I've been looking to buy a green G-Shock for a while, so this sort of come up and I thought, yeah, this will do. It's really nice. If we come to the sizes, this is a big watch. G-Shocks generally are. The face of this watch is 34mm across, but the case, because it's quite a chunky case, you can see with these button guards, it makes it 50mm from guard to guard here. If you measure from this side, it's 51mm, so not a lot extra. The strap is a thick strap because it's a double strap as well, with a double clasp. It's 22mm wide. The watch thickness, another one of these things about these G-Shock watches, said they're big, they're thick as well. So that thickness from the back to the top of the notch here is 17mm in thickness. So it's a big old chunky watch on the wrist. Because it's plastic and resin, the actual weight is very light. It's 72 grams in total, which for a big watch like this is very, very light. But you do definitely know you're wearing it, and you can definitely feel it because it is such a large watch, and it does protrude quite a bit on the wrist. So it's definitely a watch that gets noticed. And on a final note, something else I'm actually going to mention about this watch. It was a second-hand watch. It has a few marks in places. I wasn't fancy buying one of these new, to be honest with you, because I only want it just for fun. I'm not going to wear it every day. Like all my watches, I only wear them once. But it's a fairly nice condition. I said once it was cleaned up, it was okay. Oddly enough, this came from an eBay seller, obviously. It smells lovely. I don't know what the wearer who owned it was wearing at the time, but the first time I've actually had a watch that smells really, really nice. It's a lovely, I don't know, it's a sort of lovely perfumey, flowery smell to it, and it retains its really strong smell, which I'm not too fussed about. Eventually it'll wear off, but actually it smells quite nice. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the review. If you do, please hit the like button down below. Please think about subscribing and hitting the notification bell to be notified when I upload the next load of videos. Thanks again. Bye bye.